Today we have a 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix stereo in the shop. Because the backlighting on the display doesn't work, we're going to turn this on. We can hear the radio. We can barely see a 12 o'clock in the display. This is a very common problem for the stereo. And today I'm going to show you what takes care of this. It's actually a couple of light bulbs, but getting to the light bulbs can be the difficult part. We're going to start with our flathead screwdriver, and we're going to remove the bottom cover from the radio. There are little marks in the back where you can place your flathead in, and also lift the little back cover up. It hinges up and releases in the front. The reason for removing this front bottom cover is we have two wired connectors that go into the front face, and these connectors come in and connect here on the board. We're going to grasp the wires and gently wiggle them straight up, and this will release the connectors. Also, these two connectors go through separate openings on the metal part of the front board, so when we take the face off, we want to make sure we don't catch these connectors, and when placing them back in, make sure you don't catch the wires behind the face. Next, we're going to take our 3/16 screwdriver, and there are 4 screws that hold this face into place, or help secure the face to the front of the radio. We need to remove these 4 screws, 2 on each side. Again, this is a 3/16, strange size, but Delco seems to use it quite often. We're going to remove these screws. Nope, not that easily. Now, with these screws removed, we're going to move back to a smaller flathead screwdriver. We have 2 tabs at the top, several tabs along the side that help secure the face on, and 2 tabs here at the bottom as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to push and apply pressure to the face to push it off, because once you start loosening these, if you don't continue the forward pressure, the face can pop back on. So we got pretty much the bottom of the face done. We're going to move to the top now and do the same here on the top, applying forward pressure. This will release the face. The face will come forward. Now this is a spot where we take our time in removing the face to make sure the 2 connectors come through their separate openings. We're going to set the radio apart and take a look at the face here. Now, since we're setting it down on its face, what we need to do is the light bulbs. There are 3 light bulbs, one here, and one here, but we have to get to these light bulbs, and in order to do that, we're going to have to use finger pressure and pull these 2 front knobs off, the volume control knob and the tune select knob, and that will allow us to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Now again, this is a really tiny screw. We have a jeweler's nut driver here, and this thing sometimes takes a little finger pressure to get these 5 screws out. These screws that hold this, secure this face in place, are all the same, so we've been piling our screws up in the same category. The side screws for the holding the face in place were 1 screw. The 5 screws here for the face are another. We have a full library of removal guides for this stereo and many other Pontiacs as well on our website, along with some other troubleshooting and tips and do-it-yourself repairs. So see our website for help with that. If you have a cassette, remove the mechanism before removing the face. Now we have the 5 screws removed, the circuit board should remove, and we're going to set the face to the side. Be very careful with this face. The buttons can pop up out of it and cause you to have to put them all back in place. Now again, the 3 light bulbs are here in the I can see where they're soldered into the board, 1 here, 2, and 3, but they're behind the display module here. So we're going to take our small, narrow needle nose pliers, and there are several tabs around the edge of this display that have been twisted, and we're going to turn them back to being straight, and this will allow us to remove the display from the front of the face of the radio. And we have, like I said, 5. Let me see, we had 2 across the top, and it looks like 4 across the bottom that secure this display crystal in place. Now that we've straightened all them up, make sure they want to pass through the openings, we're going to push the tabs down with our thumbs, and this will help push the display off the front of the radio. I'm going to take our flathead screwdriver and also gently pry on the bottom of this just to help lift it, not go too deeply. Now what we have here are the 3 light bulbs that have problems. We also have a row of gold covered connections here, all these gold connections in the line, and what they have to do is align with this plastic or rubber membrane with all these contacts through it that run across the bottom of the display. Also there's 4 tabs at the bottom, 2 at the back, so you cannot put this on wrong, but you don't want to touch or play with this tab of connectors while that's off. Next we're going to unsolder the light bulbs and replace them. Now with the removal of these 3 bulbs, these are on one side of the bulb we're reading 12 or 13 volts, and on the other 1.9 volts, so we're going to put some 12 volt lamps in here, generic lamps, and we're going to, of course, when we install the lamps here, we're going to bend them over so that they mate into the center of the display. You can see the bulbs are all burnt on this. So we're going to remove the bulbs. Most bulbs nowadays, you can purchase the bulbs, but they do not come with this plastic cover, so you're going to have to remove the cover from these bulbs so that you can put them on the new replacements here. And sometimes these things get a little funny and don't allow you to go to full extent, but we're going to put them back to shape. We're going to do this with all 3 bulbs and solder them back in. Okay, we have replaced the 3 bulbs, lined them up here so that they look sort of somewhat even in the original positions, in the positions the original was in. We've soldered them into place and cut the legs down so that we can put this back together. We're going to bring the display module back. We're going to blow on a little bit in case any dust collected on that connector array there, and then we're going to place this back onto the board and align the slots so that the display goes right back in. I have seen some cases where when you get it back together the display does not work properly. Part of the trick is when it comes to bending these tabs to more or less put pressure on the front of the face to pull it towards the connector so it makes better contact. So we're going to take care of all these, the 4 here on the bottom, along with the 2 on the top here, and this should get us going. Next we're going to clean the face up, since the display crystal, since we got it here. Take a nice little cotton rag to it, take any fingerprints off that might be there to clean it up, any dust and so on. That will take care of that. Then we're going to bring the faceplate back. Now we're also going to take our cotton rag and wipe the inside of the display as well. And I can see that with the face being flat on the panel, that it's pushed part of the switches up here. So we're going to realign the switches here and the rays, the lighting and so on. Make sure this face goes right back into the original position. It will snap down and fit right into place. We're going to take our screwdriver and start with the center screw on this face. It tends to hold the entire face together while you're putting the remaining screws in. So once we get this one in snug, the face will hold together. Again, we have a full library of removal guides on our website. See our website for any help with repair, again, do-it-yourself repairs, and car stereo removal. Now these screws can sometimes be pretty difficult to put back in because they're a coarse thread into plastic, so we're going to put a little torque on them here to make sure we get them snug, and we're going to do this for the remaining screws as well. Replace our knobs here. The small one went down towards the bottom here, and push the knob on. We're going to find that it's So like a half moon matches the shaft and slides it back on. Now we're going to bring the radio back, find the two connectors that we have to feed back through, one through the upper opening, one through the bottom opening, and we're going to get the face close. And as we push the face close, we're also going to guide these wires through. You're going to pretty much line it up, and you'll know when it lines up. The tabs we lifted earlier will line right up and almost snap on, get them all to the same spot, make sure our wires aren't kinked, and then we're going to snap the face on. Now we're just going to install the two connectors back here. And of course, before we replace the covers, we have the luxury of being able to hook this up on the bench. There we go, and we have here we now have the full display. Hope this video has been helpful. Again, this is a simple repair. You should have no problem as long as you can solder 3 light bulbs, 12 volt, and you're set to go. Hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching.